CM Punk wrestled a few matches over the past year and is a very mean, bad man. Welcome to Tim and Joel. Welcome to Tim and Joel. Call it in the ring. We're going to call each other and then talk about what occurred in some rings over the past week-ish.
I got so let me start with some sappiness as I hear babies in the background.
Stupid baby.
Right? Who would have one of those? Some people found us later in our podcasting journey, and a lot of y'all don't actually know that today, well, actually yesterday, it was the 2-year anniversary of this show. And Tim and I have been doing this show for 2 years. We've been doing Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring, and that's wild to think about. And really, like, I'll put it out there, like, working with Tim is the best. Like, he and I, we get to talk about this stuff, and we get to interact with you guys and have fun with the chat and with the people who hit us up on different platforms and say hi at us wrestling shows. We're going to talk about Greektown last night, and I'll put over Tim all day long that I haven't had a better co-pilot for these things, and I appreciate him. He's my dude. Happy 2-year anniversary, pal.
Oh, thanks. As you were touting how easy I am to work with and professional I am, I just discovered I'm covered in baby, like, spit up.
That's why you shower.
I am shower. I did shower. I just picked up a shirt that had it's got some old weird beef on it.
Did you shower after last night's Greektown show?
No,
I didn't either.
It was not a good move. I woke up this morning and was just like,
It was gross.
Yeah.
So last night, Tim and I, we were at Greektown Wrestling in Toronto. They had it at the Ted Reeve Arena, but it wasn't in the arena proper where they ran it 2 months ago when Bret Hart was the special guest. This time they ran it in what they called the Thunderdome, which, by the way, like, is legitimately
the bubble.
Like,
they called it the bubble.
But you know what, Tim? It's where the Ted Reeve Thunder play,
which is confusing to me because one would think they would play out of the fully decked out permanent structure arena, but nope, weird bubble.
So anyway, they ran out of the bubble. The bubble was actually really, it was a good spot for this particular show.
It felt good. Eddie Kingston. It really did. Yeah.
Yeah. Eddie Kingston was in the main event. Ortiz was there as well. Serpentico opened up the show. Trey Miguel from Impact Wrestling was there. RJ City wrestled his first match since the pandemic. We were there for his last match.
Yeah.
Damn. We saw him and Daniel Garcia at Greektown before the pandemic, literally like a week before everything shut down in 2020. We watched him and Red Death wrestle in a church basement, and then last night
that was a church basement that
lights in our eyes.
Yeah, it was pretty great. I mean,
you know why
that last match was wild.
You know why they ran that match, right? Or why they ran that building, right?
The other church basement was being renovated.
No, the other church basement was being used, and I shit you not, for a Hanukkah party.
Wait, what?
The Danforth Jewish Circle was running an event that night.
At a Christian church. Okay.
They use it as like a multi-denomination.
Oh, it's a multi-faith thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought it was like a united. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's how excited it was to go and watch Bhupinder Gujjar challenge RJ City returning to Greektown Wrestling. And then RJ City then tore me apart for 20 minutes on camera.
Ripped you apart. It was very funny. I have the evidence. It's coming.
It's coming. Folks, if you get excited, I spoke to Trey Miguel. I spoke to Serpentico. Spoke to Channing Decker, who is the owner and current champion at Greektown Wrestling. And I also spoke to RJ City after the show. Really, really good conversations, really good chats. Hopefully they'll see the light of day sooner than later. And maybe the other interviews that I did back in June, maybe we'll put those up as well.
Did those never go up?
Those never made it. I've spoken to Jeremy.
My hard work. All right, that's fine.
That was those were with Eric Young, Big Joe Doring, Josh Alexander, Sonny Kiss, and did I miss somebody? I think that was it. It was just those four.
Eric Young, Sonny Kiss, Josh. Alexander. That's it. It's 4.
Yeah, it was just the 4. So we're averaging about 4 per Greektown show. I wanted to speak to Eddie Kingston. He's a busy dude at these shows, especially
there were
when
a lot of people getting him to sign their stuff. So,
and you know what? So I gotta put this over. So there were kids. There are tons of kids at Greektown, and it's a family event for so many. And Eddie came out after the show had ended. While we were waiting for RJ, Eddie was like, he didn't have to be there, but he was just hanging out afterwards. There was a kid and his dad, anyway, there was a kid and their dad hanging out afterwards, and Eddie just came back and signed autographs and spoke to the kid, took photos. Like, it was super gracious. I cannot say a negative thing about him. Ortiz as well. Like, he was just hanging out. It was just doing his thing, and anyone who approached him, totally cool. Just regular people hanging out.
Eddie donated to charity that they were running there too. So
I wanted to ask Eddie about that, but unfortunately, because I didn't get a chance to interview him, I couldn't get the specifics. But he also worked C4 in Ottawa, Canada. They run their Fighting Back show every year, and it's a benefit for cancer research, and they raise a ton of money through that. Normally, New Legacy Inc., who stream on Twitch, they're very popular. They usually do a gaming stream for him for Fighting Back. And then C4 runs the show that does really well. Evil Uno is a big proponent of that if you are an AEW fan. So Evil Uno was on that show. So was Stu Grayson. Show was great. I'm sure it'll show up soon, I think, on IWTV soon. And if you do IWTV, by the way, use the code Fight Talk. That's Steven Jensen's code. I got to put that over because I don't have a code and he does. And it definitely gets all your faces on the professional wrestling and the independent circuit. But yeah, Greektown itself. Well, first of all, holy crap! We're 7 minutes in, and I haven't done the gimmicks.
Oh, whoa!
Hello, welcome. How you doing, chat? It's good to see you. Leave a thumbs up on this video if you haven't already. You can leave a comment here after the fact if you're watching us on FightfulOverbooked.com, and you can subscribe to us here on the channel because guess what? We like it when you subscribe to us because we drop content every single day. And also, if you want to leave your super chats, you can support us here at Fightful Overbooked. The super chats in the YouTube link, it's that little $sign to get your question or statement read on the air. Any amount, $sign, click it. We'll get you up on the air talking about it. And you can join us in the Discord. There's a link in the description of the video. It's always there. It's evergreen. Any episode of Tim and Joel Call in the Ring that you see, the Discord link is there. We're here. We're clear. We say hello. Let's talk about Greektown. So we got there. It was hot as hell. 35 degrees Celsius. That's what, 90 something for the Americans. When we finally got inside, it was still really hot in there. They hadn't turned on the ventilation. And then the way that this bubble is structured, Tim, you come in, there's kind of an overhang, like a bathrooms and admin area. And then there is a space where, there's just space upstairs. And so I looked at you and I was like,
the refrigeration unit.
Yeah, I said, let's go upstairs. We'll do the interviews up there. No one's going to be up there, and it'll just be us. It'll be cool. And it wasn't cool. It was hot as hell, but we got all the interviews up there.
Rise. Yeah.
Yes. But it was good. Yeah. Talk to me. What did you enjoy about the show? What was good? And then we can dig into the matches.
What was good about the show? The whole first half was like start to finish, just like really, really solid. They had even Colby Durst had a little bit of shine with some strange. He did 2 matches in a row. He beat some guy who came out to was Something in the Way by Nirvana. The saddest song a man could ever slowly amble out to.
He was Toronto Raven. He was coming out looking like Toronto Raven.
Yeah. Tall guy. He did all the big man moves and then lost. And then some guy who we never got the name of.
It's true. We should have probably asked.
He looked like a stouter, like
Caleb
buffer,
with a K, right?
Caleb with a K. Yeah.
What did he call himself on the trunks? Yeah.
The trunks said British Brawler, but then I think that British Brawler may just be a brand of trunks. So he may have just bought branded trunks.
I mean, that's entirely possible. I think I have his name here.
You got it? Okay, finally. The mystery will be revealed.
He goes by British Brawler.
No.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
No, he's not even British.
Adam Hutchinson.
Oh.
His birthplace, he's from Newcastle upon Tyne.
He has no accent whatsoever.
No, he doesn't. He's a battle arts guy, so he's trained by Santino.
Okay.
Wow.
So, okay. So
he
you
came
know
out.
what? It aligns with Santino's gimmick in that he is Italian.
Yeah. So this guy is British.
British. All right,
Lost the
whatever.
keys. But
Anyway,
yeah,
he
he came
came
out of the
out.
match.
He picked a fight. Ended in a no contest.
He did pick a fight. And then we got into the main show. They started the show. It was hot. It's on Fight TV, by the way. If you go over to Fight TV and you search Greektown Wrestling, it's there. It's $5 a month, and you can get all those shows. They did 2 shows this weekend, one in London, Ontario, and one in Toronto, and it was good. So, but really, we don't have to go through every single match. But I mean, there were some notables.
The highlights. My God, Serpentico. Who was he wrestling? My God,
Aiden Prince.
Aiden Prince. Yeah,
Aiden
who always shows out. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Phenomenal match. Very, very good. The Ortiz Trey Miguel one, amazing.
Yeah.
Jody Threatened Taylor Wilde was very good. A little bit of a walk and brawl precursor.
Yeah. So when I was trying to get some time with Jody Threaten, we were talking before the show. I was like, "Hey, you got some time?" And she's like, "No, I'm trying. I gotta put the putting the match together." Da, da, da. And then afterwards, I saw the match and I turned to Tim. I'm like, "Oh, now I understand why they needed that much time. They really went at it. It was a very intricate match, and they also the walk and brawl stuff definitely took some planning because." You didn't want anyone getting smacked in the face when they shouldn't be smacked in the face. It was good, really good match.
It's very good.
Taylor's back at it tonight at Super Kicked, by the way. I noticed.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I saw that. Yeah. New venue, I guess.
So, okay. Yeah. So we won't get into it here. We talked about there. I didn't see the venue change that you saw, but anyway, I'm not going to be there. I have some other things going on today. Destiny's also running in Mississauga. It's a big week, by the way, for wrestling fans. Like if you're in the eastern part of Canada, between SmackDown on Friday being in Montreal and like the entire weekend being full of wrestling and Raw's on Monday in Toronto, there's a lot going on. It's going to be good stuff. What else was really good? The main event. I mean, Eddie Kingston comes out and he's taking on Channing Decker. I turned to Tim, I turned to you, and I was just like, they're both faces. Like, how are we doing this match? And they even said before the match, the ring announcer Steve is like, Eddie Kingston donated X amount to this charity, and the charity is like all for kids with disabilities who want to play hockey. And I was just like, that's wonderful, that's amazing. But he's also the face, and so is Channing. And Channing's like community leader Channing Decker, hardcore guy. But it turned out it didn't matter because the two of them just beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. And then they, both these guys, etc., raise the hand, shake the hand at the end. It is all very cordial. It's a very cordial hardcore match.
It was actually. So in our preview on Overbooked for this show, we talked about the Zamboni, and we talked about how last time Channing came out on the Zamboni, and my favorite thing was like, we were like, no, they're not going to do it again. They ran it back, Tim. And even better than that, this was our most famous thing that's ever happened to us. Oh my God. Never thought it would happen. We're just hanging out, you and I, over by the entrance. And someone walks up to us, guy with a big beard, and he's wearing a Ted Reeve Arena shirt. And he says, "Hey, I listened to you guys." And I was like, "Oh, that's great." He's like, "Yeah, I listened to your preview of the show." And I'm like, "Oh, that's really nice. Thank you." And he's like, "Yeah, I was listening to it, and then I heard you guys talk about the Zamboni." And then my son turned to me and was like, "You're talking about you." And he's like, "So you made me look like $1 million in front of my son." I was like, "That's amazing. That is the best thing I've ever heard. And I can retire now."
Yeah. So, he's like, "I'm the guy who does the Zamboni." I was like, "Yeah, it was awesome."
Yes, you are. No, it was great. You know what? For anyone who actually found that preview not only enjoyable, but also helpful, thank you. Because that actually makes it so much easier for us to want to do and continue doing if Channing and the crew over there want us to do it. So it was good stuff. The night was fun. You know what? The show started around 6:00 p.m. It ended by 9:30. It was good timing, simple show. We had a good time, man. I got to put it over. It's a good show. If you want to go watch it, it's on Fight TV. That's all I got. Should we go?
RJ City beat Bhupinder Gujjar.
Okay. Did somebody ask?
No, it's just I just feel like that needed to be said because it feels wrong.
RJ City, who by the way is portraying a babyface, is not.
He was playing the role of babyface. He did win via lowering his knee pad and then holding the ropes for the victory.
Yes. So. It's good finish. So it's like a flash knee, and then listen, Bhupinder was out anyway. I don't know what the hell that was. He didn't need to grab the ropes. It was just extra leverage at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about wrestling. Let's talk about the week. So CM Punk is back.
He's back. He's
been
back,
for a
baby.
week. Not only does he come back, Kenny Omega's back, which, by the way, we talked about that last week on the show.
Yeah, we knew that. Everyone knew that was happening.
Yeah.
It was the least surprising surprise the AEW has ever done.
Well, that's the AEW way, right? It's just like when Punk was coming back, it was all but confirmed by AEW. They left little nuggets here and there that people kind of figured out, and the next thing
Easter eggs.
Exactly. They do the Easter eggs and they come out. I mean, I would love it one week if they just kind of faked it and did it like they did with Christian, where it was like,
well, we had
signing. This is huge. Da, da, da. It's Christian.
We had fantasy booked it with MJF coming out. You know,
everyone did,
and then it didn't happen. Nothing happened. It was
nothing.
Just, it was CM Punk. Then he jumped in the crowd a bunch. Then he broke his foot jumping in the crowd a bunch.
Oh my gosh. We talked about
however
before.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Punk comes out and he does this promo and he mentions Hangman Adam Page.
Seems pissed. I was like, oh, okay. It's out of
kind
nowhere.
of threw us all off. Absolutely.
Threw the commentary team off. Note, like very noticeably.
Yeah, and then Mox comes out and they brawl. And well, first of all, okay, I gotta ask your opinion. So Mox's music hits and Punk is like, I'm gonna do Snow Angels in the ring, and like everyone's like, haha, that's so funny. But like, do you think that takes away from the moment itself, like the seriousness?
I have a lot of thoughts on everything that was said in that promo, believe it or not. Like I didn't think it was gonna be. I skimmed the headlines. I watched Dynamite like this morning. And I had skimmed the headlines. I didn't really know what was going on. I saw something about Hangman. I saw something about Colt Cabana and Punk having beef again, which, like, I don't care. It is so silly and funny to me that grown men can care this much about something when we're all going to die at some point.
So let's back that up. Hold on. I'm going to back that up. So the Colt Cabana CM Punk stuff that's years ago.
Yeah,
they never made up from it. They included lawsuits.
What was it again? Yeah, it involved lawsuits, so that's important. That's pretty lasting in terms of gripes.
It involved Punk's health at the time with WWE, and the doctor saying one thing but not really giving him the full, scope of his health. There was a whole lot of stuff, and then Punk went. The reason why Punk and Cabana started their tip is because I believe the doctor called them both on to sued them both because Punk had talked about it on Colt's podcast. This was in 2014. It was a Thanksgiving thing. It was a big podcast where Punk spoke openly about it on Colt's podcast. And then throughout the proceedings, it felt like Punk left Colt high and dry. And they just kind of split apart, and there was a whole lot of issues out of that. As far as I can remember, it's been years.
All real crap. Also, what the doctor sued him for talking about his own health? Like, I don't understand.
No, the doctor sued because it was defamation, because it was talking shit about the doctor and the way that he was.
Well, that's treated. Punk being a dipshit then.
Like, I don't even want to get into that. It's not
for the courts to decide.
The point is, Colt and CM Punk had a falling out because of everything that happened with the lawsuits.
Okay.
And so the lawsuit, while it may be over, the problems that Punk and Colt have, I think it's just more been like, we don't want to be around each other, so just don't put us around each other. And that was the biggest question coming into Punk's debut in AEW. So Colt's so Colt's in ROH.
Arenas are pretty big. You can just different locker rooms. Anyway,
not when you got to eat together, pal.
Schedule eating times. I don't know. It's not hard.
It's a cruise ship. Your dining time is 5:30.
Exactly. Do it in waves. I don't know. It's a business. This is all annoying and stupid. These are grown men who are, despite any legal troubles, probably still doing pretty okay financially. So I don't really care.
Anyway, let's talk about the actual comments at hand.
Yeah.
We start with the Cowboy shit versus coward shit. By the way, if you watch Newsworthy, with Jeremy Lambert and I from yesterday.
So
we talk about that. The headline, we talk about the coward shit and where this whole kind of thing came from. And that's from Hangman at GalaxyCon, talking about how he doesn't really take advice or how he's stubborn. And he says, I'm a world champion. I don't need to take everyone's advice. And so at one point, Punk said something like, I have advice for you. And it was kind of like it was between that and the promo that Hangman actually cut while Punk was out, for whatever reason at the time.
So that's the slight, because I was curious about that.
A whole bunch
of idea what this slight is.
There's a whole bunch of stuff.
This is so silly. I don't know. I honestly feel like this is just Punk actively trying to get a heel turn when he's so popular that he can't actually turn heel. This seems like a way to maybe do that, because like he seemed like a douchebag. Everything he said was dumb and like okay, on the balance of like, am I an AEW stan? Am I a WWE stan? I'm not. They're both good. But like what he said, no, it's stupid. I'm not inviting that. But what he said was like, the second best Kingston. Like he was saying, tell me when I'm lying or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, everything you're saying is a subjective statement, and you can't. Anyway. But you get hit in the head a lot for your job, so again, I'll give you a pass, as I do for many wrestler comments. He was like the second best Kingston. I was like, I prefer Eddie Kingston over Kofi Kingston. Sorry. Third best Eddie, which like.
Did you figure out who's
the second Eddie? I know
it
Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, Umaga was Eddie Fatu. A lot of people thought it was Eddie Edwards, but he and Punk never shared a locker room.
Yeah. Okay, well, I agree with that then. He's probably the third best Eddie.
Umaga was wonderful.
My subjective opinion, because again, none of it is fact or falsehood. And then the second best John. Now, I don't know, because I wasn't watching when Punk wrestled. It's not John Bradshaw Layfield, is it?
No, but it should be. It's John Cena.
Oh,
because it's a very
prefer John Moxley quite a bit.
More. So let's put it out that you weren't watching at that time, right? You came back around. Did you come back after the pipe bomb?
No, long after.
Okay, so
I didn't start. Oh, for reference, I did not start watching In Vigor until we got together, because I had slowly kind of drifted off. I used to watch like everything. Mm-hmm. Then around when Punk started his ascent, like I just kind of stopped watching, because I was in university. I was doing music and much more focused on other things. And then I just watched the pay-per-views, and then I just watched SummerSlam and WrestleMania, and then I just watched WrestleMania, and then there were 2 or 3 of those that were so long and bad that I just stopped watching entirely. And then when I started going to local indie shows exclusively, because I still liked wrestling. I just didn't like how WWE told stories. And then I started watching again because we started doing this podcast. So that's when I came back to it. Like, that's it.
So Punk and Cena had a very storied rivalry in WWE that revolved around Punk's departure or his contract.
The Summer of Punk stuff. The Summer of Punk. I've retroactively learned of, but like,
regardless, the point was it was John Cena that.
So that was an easy one for most people. Like, I don't know. I knew JBL was kind of also in the main event picture around that time, so I was like, I think it might have been he might have retired a little before, but anyway, or moved to commentary. Not important.
So, okay. I mean, listen, you just said it yourself. Like, you're not the guy who goes and looks for all the headlines or subscribes to all the newsletters and all that stuff. Yeah, you skim it, and that's fine. My question to you is, like, you're watching this unfold, and they're doing, like, it's Punk and Moxley. It was supposed to be at All Out. Now it's not going to be at All Out because they're doing it next week in Cleveland. Right? Did you see
what?
Yeah, they breezed through that. It was supposed to be they even mentioned that it was All Out, and now they're going to do it next week in Cleveland. What's the All Out main event? Because now you got to do Mox. You can't run it twice. You can't. They tried that. They tried it with Christian, and it didn't work. Christian and Kenny Omega.
What the?
Yeah, Mox and CM Punk is this Wednesday.
We about to get a screwy finish and then a gimmick match? Is this turning into WWE?
But that's the thing. You can't, like, you can do it, but why would you do it? It's not what their fans would want.
I am confused.
As you should be.
No, there's no way that match happens. Period. Like, I just don't think it's happening. It's what, Cleveland? Why Cleveland?
I don't know, it's just where they have
Mox is from Cincy. Like,
I mean, Mox is from, he is Cincinnati. I don't know. I'm seeing in the chat Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm main eventing All Out. No, that's the way that AEW books their women's division. That's how you absolutely ruin your fan base. Unfortunately, I don't. Also, there's no build. There's no build to Tony. And
like, it just doesn't feel.
Chris Statlater's injured.
Yeah, you earned it. Okay, let's do a wrestle. Like,
it's not going to be it. Sorry, pal.
And like, I like Thunder Rosa. We'll see if Tony can go.
Anyway, so they're running Punk versus Moxley. Now, a lot of people are thinking, is this the return of MJF coming out of this? If you do that, you can't. Like, how can you do that when...
This is bad. This is
right,
bad.
How do you run the return of MJF?
Did they announce this at the end of Dynamite? When did this...
When Excalibur goes a mile a minute. Yeah, just before the main event. They just threw it up on the screen and said, have at it.
Okay. Yeah, I was too focused. I was kind of walking around getting ready for Kenny's return. I didn't.
Yeah. Even the commentary, it was a hot shot. It was absolutely a hot shot. Like Fightful Selector had reported, this was not the original plan. Like that was not going to happen. And listen, there are some people who are wondering, is this maybe Tony reacting to how Paul Levesque has taken the reins in WWE, right?
They're not even on the same day. It doesn't matter. Like,
what? I don't know. I mean, it's a very strange situation. And now the conversation has shifted to, is MJF on the return? And I once again reiterate, if you bring MJF back, he can't be a face unless, because I've mentioned this a million times before. Let me finish. They're going to be for all of September. They're going to be in the Tri-States. They're going to be in New York for 3 out of 4 weeks in September. And then the 4th week, they're going to be in Philadelphia. Do you bring MJF back and hope that the New York thing gets him over as a babyface? Because it works in Long Island, but I don't know if it's going to work at like Arthur Ashe.
This is so bananas that like Mike in the chat, Mike M, is saying a fatal 4-way all out Punk versus Mox versus Page versus MJF is literally kind of the only thing that even comes close to making a little tiny bit of sense, because they've screwed up the entire main event.
Look at the thumbnail in this video. That's what the thumbnail is. It's those 4 men. And if you do a fatal 4-way, what is that? Okay, here. So let me add it. So let me add another piece to it. They do this whole like CM Punk versus Mox thing, and then Adam Cole immediately does the eyes emoji on Twitter. If Adam Cole is cleared, do you really want Adam Cole back in it?
Yeah, you know what? Like, you know how you could do that? One, okay, say that part of this is like an attempt at the restoration of kayfabe, or to blur the lines between like reality and dirt sheet, or like the dirt sheet and the story stuff. Like, I'm not discounting that in this case. I really am not, because like, I don't know. I feel like if someone feels like just messing with dirt sheets, like, or I call them dirt sheet, I don't know, like people reporting on wrestling,
wrestling reporters.
Yeah, wrestling reporters. If they wanted to mess with them, it'd be so easy. And like, it's fun and it's entertaining, and not knowing truth from fiction is a lot more interesting than what wrestling has kind of become, where everyone knows everything before it's going to happen. So like, I wouldn't put it past Punk and Tony Khan to like kind of coordinate something like that along with MJF. So like, part of that, like, I don't mind, but I also think it would be really interesting if they did this scramble for the championship coming out of this interim situation. If you're going to do it, now's the time, right? To have like, well, you both have a claim to it. You never even started your reign. You couldn't defend it. Like, just, and then have all of these big guys that like, it's hard to book with all these big guys, have this scramble for the championship. And like, that would be a pretty, like, that would be a very memorable thing, I think, if you did it right in the 1-2 weeks you have to do it. Like, when's All Out? September? No, first week of September, right?
It's first week of September.
Yeah, 1 week to do it.
Like, yeah, you've got basically
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah.
You've got 2 weeks to figure it out. And again, this week, your match is the interim championship. So whatever happens at the end of that match, they got to set up whatever the All Out main event's going to be.
It could be really interesting. I could tell you that. Like,
here's the other side of it. They've got the Casino Battle Royal coming back to All Out. Mm-hmm. And I said it on Twitter. I just said, you know, who's going to be the WWE, the ex-WWE guy who comes in as the Joker in the Casino Battle Royal match that Adam Page is going to win?
Yeah.
Because either Hangman's going to win it, or they're going to have Eddie, and they will do Eddie at All Out, or Eddie at Arthur Ashe Stadium, which, by the way, was a question I was going to ask Eddie about, you know, his Arthur Ashe appearance last year with Homicide, because he always wanted to bring Homicide into It's a ladder match, not a whatever. The point is, whatever.
Yeah.
It's still, the point is that the winner still gets a championship match.
Yeah.
I like the battle royal better than the ladder match, to be honest.
Oh, I like the ladder match better.
Oh, that's fair. Whatever. It's a subjective.
I don't like the battle royal because they send them out in groups of like 3 or 4, and I was like,
So that's even more. I could see Hangman winning that ladder match. So regardless, I just feel like Hangman winning that again. You can do Eddie Kingston and be like, the title shot happens at Arthur Ashe, but they haven't clarified that. And again, what the hell is going to happen at the end of this week's main event? And that's great. We're going to get people absolutely discussing that side of things leading into Dynamite, and that could pop a rating. It will. Like,
I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I will say, like, the promo stuff to kick it off enticed me. I liked Mox's, like, I really liked Mox's promo back here. Like the back and forth they had was actually really strong, I thought. Followed by some cute little worked punches because neither one of them wanted to put each other like in a dangerous position given the money on the line. But it was good. And then having it as a 3-thread through Dynamite, I thought was good. Like I'm intrigued. Moving it to next week makes sense in a narrative sense, but from like a reality business perspective is insane. So I'm hoping they have something really clever that this is building towards. But
I see Kate in the chat saying, they can open up with the championship match. Honestly, if you look at how the ratings have always looked for AEW, probably the smartest thing you could do is open up with the championship match, because it always starts and then it goes. But I would not do a 60-minute draw. I tell you that much. I wouldn't do another draw. They've done it before.
That would be the equivalent of their DQ to get out of a situation. But my God, that's a long route to get invested. And then
I wouldn't put also like a 60-minute draw on wrestling TV. People generally don't watch the entire thing and like get super invested in it. This past week on Impact, for example, they were doing a 6-man elimination match for number 1 contendership. And I was nervous that I was going to have to talk about a main event that was going to go 60 minutes with 6 men and eliminations. And then it turned out that the match was like maybe 20 minutes and it was great. So like it made things so much better. I can't do a 60-minute match on a Dynamite. Like some people will be all over it and they'll love it because they love the ring work. But for me, the storytelling is just, it's not, I can't see Punk and Mox doing 60 minutes on TV.
No, and that's the other thing.
Like
someone saying Punk ain't going 60. It's like, that's kind of fair. Like I don't, he's not making any excuses for that. Like I just don't think he's there yet. He just got back.
So people be like, Punk ain't doing 60. Yeah, he's not. Punk wasn't doing 60 when he came back either. So
no, he eased himself into it. We were talking about that, like his progression. Like he was slowly working like harder and harder matches, but he was nowhere near doing 60 straight minutes. Like. I don't know. Yeah, having MJF get involved could be really, really interesting. I think it needs you've got two tweeners. You've got Moxley and you've got Punk. You bring in MJF, you have an outright heel. I feel like you need to bring in Hangman at that point to balance it out with like an overt like goody two shoes. Like you need something else, because if it's just the 3 of them, that feels like a weird match to me. Like that, the dynamics there are really strange.
That's when you need Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah, honestly, and then it's just a basically an asshole fest. Like 4 assholes beating each other. They're up in the ring.
That's the thing. That is the thing. Like again, MJF comes out, but like people are gonna cheer MJF because we've been waiting for him to come back.
Yeah.
It's finally happening. But like from there, what do you do with MJF, who is like, he can be a face. He can. But it just, we haven't seen
that would be such a I don't want that character though. It's too good him being I don't know.
Watch, they're gonna have Mox win the match, and then immediately it's gonna be Colt Cabana comes out and challenges Mox for All Out.
That would be funny.
Gonna be like, what the
that's such a like niche booking.
Well, listen, this whole thing has been a niche booking because like everyone's wondering, Punk makes a reference to Hangman and everyone's thinking like, what, that came out of nowhere. And
for me it did, because like I don't follow all this crap. I didn't know that they at some nerd convention. I don't know.
And so now you've got TK in the back being like, oh shit. What do I do?
I have introduced too many strong personalities.
Well, and I've mentioned this on other shows, and I mentioned this elsewhere. Like, You can't have quote unquote 25 years of booking in a notepad. I've been booking this show since I was 13 years old. That's great. Great. I love that you've been having your own TW.
Those are human people with thoughts and feelings who have changed and evolved over 13 years.
Now you're dealing with people. Now you're dealing with humans. Now you're dealing with emotions and goals and expectations. And you have to book based on some of those goals and aspirations. You have to work with these people. This is not the pen in your hand from 15 years ago. And that's the one thing that I will continuously say about Tony. Like he comes off as someone who's very passionate about wrestling, who's someone who obviously cares about this business, and that's great. But sometimes when he's booking, I feel like he's booking for not just himself, just to pop himself with the big matches. It's fine, whatever. People like it. But like the long-term storytelling that people are trying to twist themselves into a knot to understand, it's not because he planned it that way. Sometimes he just kind of stumbled into it and people found explanations.
Yeah, when you're drawing on the entire independent wrestling scene in North America, like, and the world, like, yeah.
So what if MJF is the ladder match guy? And he's the Joker.
I think it's weird if you screw up this main event and then have someone win like number one contendership. I think you put that down the road. Like whoever wins that ladder match is a few months when the dust is settled. Like I really don't. I don't know. I don't see that as a good pathway into this.
I don't have an answer. I'm perplexed as to why they decided to run that main event next week.
It is befuddling, and I am titillated. Did it
titillate the juices of your guilty pleasure?
A little bit. I mean, wrestling on the whole is kind of a guilty pleasure.
They were great on SmackDown, by the way. Maximum.
Oh man, so good. Nuclear heat, as someone pointed. I think it was Lance Storm.
We'll talk to that.
I always just attribute everything to Lance Storm because I think he may be the wrestler I like the most on Twitter. Yeah, it's such a weird. I feel like I could talk about this all day because it feels so strange to me, and I can't tell if Punk is full of shit or so genuine because like he's just good at being on the mic. Like the man is very, very good at that. Like when he did the disrespect has to be blah blah blah, blah that like great line, and like he seemed legitimately pissed off. So I cannot tell.
Here's another thing. And Caden's pointing this out in the chat, and I've talked about this too. It's Eddie and Sammy at All Out. But here's the problem. Eddie laid out the challenge. They had Sammy on a Rampage taping last week accept the challenge. They didn't air it. So I don't know.
Yeah, it got held back.
Yeah. So I don't know. Again, I feel like the All Out card kind of got blown up recently, and that all the matches that they have announced are just the ones that they've actually announced this past week. They'll make more. I'm sure the Acclaimed are going to have the tag title match against Swerve and Lee. Sure, that's fine. And then you have the trios title final. By the way, big fan. You have the Dynamite side and the Rampage side, and you can look at both sides and be like, I got to watch the Dynamite side because the Rampage side is just the House of Black side.
Yeah. It's pretty funny the way you can just see how it's going to go.
But I guess the best friends, if you're a best friends guy. But yeah, it feels like something happened.
I am a best friends guy. You know what? That sows some doubt in me because I could see the best friends winning the trios titles.
Yeah, it's time. Yeah, Caden in the chat saying Goldberg is a free agent. It's time for Goldberg versus CM Punk. Let's go, baby.
I thought he had one more.
He says he does. Nobody really knows.
It's the Saudi one, obviously.
It always is.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, there was a lot of other stuff that went on Dynamite. Is there anything you want to talk? You want to talk about that trios match with the Elite realigning? Kenny Omega's back with Don Callis, by the way.
Yeah.
Shocker.
So I guess the Bucks aren't turning face.
Or are they? Maybe Don
I don't
Callis
know. I don't know who is doing what. I have no idea who plays what role on this show because the stories are kind of thin sometimes. They're doing some good stuff. Like I honestly like the Billy Gunn stuff. That was great. Now they have to do the best friends thing, like you pointed out, I think, because like they did the zoom in. I want to do the zoom out. Yeah.
You got to give the people what they want, and that's the scissors. So by the way, no, Goldberg says he's got another. I know that
that was a recent
argument.
Thing. Yeah,
I know the prevailing argument is that he's worked the last match. No, Goldberg has said multiple times he still has more, and it's not just I have more in the tank. He's like, I think I have another match. So anyway, go back to Kenny and the Bucks and everything.
The match.
Oh, all that to say, Goldberg has brain damage. So go ahead.
Yeah, so who knows? Yeah, Kenny's back. It was no surprise. The intro was good. You know, it's long. The PWI top 500 line made me laugh a little bit.
I heard he was number 20.
Yeah, they didn't even specify. They just said he's in the top 500. I was like, that's adorable.
He's got to justify his place. That's all.
Yeah. It was good. It was good. Match was fine. No surprise on the victory. It looks like Kenny coming back all broken and wearing a shirt was interesting to me. I guess they're going to slowly have him level up until he goes Super Saiyan and gels his hair straight up in the end.
Actually, that's probably what's going to happen.
That sounds horrible. Please don't do that. Can wrestlers please stop being so into Dragon Ball Z? At least don't do it in a way where I see it. Because I used to love Dragon Ball Z when I was 12.
Just get a tattoo and then cover it up when you're working TV.
Sammy and Tay posted something too. Sammy had her dressed up in Goku gear, and I was like, "What is with these guys, man?"
Interesting. Can Athena versus Jade just happen already? Yes, absolutely. And I've been saying since the Madison Rain debut, I said this is all just getting to Athena versus Jade.
Because we did a weird Madison detour
Rain is best friends with Jade. I don't know.
Again, I guess Madison Rain teaches by being on television with them in the moment, but I don't know.
We talked about that. I understood why they had it, why they brought in Madison Rain both as a coach and why they had her do this whole run for a couple of weeks. It was a good way to get the shine on Jade and make sure that
it was. Yeah, but I mean, Jade's had nothing but shine. She's dominant. She's over for me anyway.
No, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the women's division is booked well in AEW. I'm not, because it's not booked well. Many people talk about it. You and I talk about it every time. And I'm going to say this. I say this on the podcast because I ain't saying it on Twitter where people are weird. If you're Willow Nightingale, start picking up calls from a 203 area or 202 area code, whatever Stanford is, because I have a feeling that if the second Paul gets a chance, he will sleeping on her. Absolutely sign her to a full-time deal, and that will cut deep because Tony's just sitting there, and there are certain women who I can guarantee you will be ready to go back or not back, but back or go to WWE if given the chance, given what's going on now.
Which I still can't get over, honestly. It's nice that, for all of its shortcomings, I'm still really enjoying Dynamite every week. So the 2 out of 3 falls match this week, so good. The Jungle Boy Christian thing is kind of adorable in a funny way. And like I said, I'm really into the Gun story. I actually don't mind the Gun Club. I find them entertaining now. They've got a bit of a sense of who they are. Again, I don't feel like Stokely needs to be recruiting literally everybody, but it's fine.
Yeah, it is strange though what they're doing there. But you're right. Dynamite this week was solid. It was a much better show than I think.
Oh my god, Pac's promo. Yeah. I don't give a crap about Will Ospreay and whoever his tag team partners are. Aussie but now I'm looking forward to that match solely on how good that promo was by Pac. I didn't even know he could talk like that. I've seen him do his brooding vignettes, but just him and a mic looking into a camera, damn good.
There are, and again, I see the chat is popping up with a bunch of women who are well worth putting the investment into. And for every time someone says, "Oh, Ring of Honor, they're going to sign them to Ring of Honor, and there'll be a developmental deal." Dustin Rhodes is not a developmental talent.
No, and a lot of those women are beyond developmental kind of presence.
I can't everyone's excited for Ring of Honor being developed, and I would love to see it. But why would you had Dustin Rhodes come out on Friday and accept Claudio's open challenge for the Ring of Honor championship? If I'm Claudio, I'd be like, no, I this is nice, but I want someone younger. I want
up
someone
comers.
You know what? This is gonna sound ridiculous, but the Zach Clayton thing, as stupid as it was to have him and Hook, you could have had Zach Clayton come out and be like, Claudio, I want the Ring of Honor championship.
Whoa, that would rustle some jimmies.
I'm sure it would have. But my point being that if this is going to be Ring of Honor and it's supposed to be a developmental territory, you bring out people like Zach Clayton. I'm not saying Zach Clayton himself, but you bring out wrestlers who are actually developing and showing promise to wrestle for the Ring of Honor title. It just, to me, it didn't. I understand why they did it. I understand the story behind the history behind Dustin Rhodes never winning a world title, blah blah blah. But Claudio did. I get it, and the match will be good. But at the end of the day, Ring of Honor is supposedly going to become this developing territory. You don't have anyone developing there.
Yeah, we'll see. I still don't know that that's like the dust is settled and that's solidified, but I don't know.
There's a lot going on, but I mean, listen, Dynamite was good. Rampage was fine. I turned it off before the Trustbusters match because I just knew the whole match was going to be best friends incapacitate Parker, and then they wrestle the rest of the match. You go over here. We're going to throw you into the barricades, and then we're going to go wrestle this match. Thank you. Bye. Was there anything else? Penelope Ford is back. Big fan. Yes. Glad to see her back. Athena, of course, they picked up the Athena and Jade thing. So there we go. Serpentico got his ass beat. By the way, buddy, he and I talked about that in our interview, so I look forward to talking about that. We were both right while both making the same points, and that is
time is strange.
Is a loser while also being a winner. So look forward to that interview with Serp. He was great. He was hated him, great. And now we're best friends. Good on us. Love that for us. I'm just looking at the results for. There was the tag team match. It was great. Swerve versus Private Party. And yeah, that's it. Oh, you know what? No, I don't even want to put it. I'm not going to put it out there. So let's move on. We got a little bit of time. We'll talk about. You want to talk about SmackDown?
SmackDown, that crowd, Montreal, holy hell!
Yeah,
showed out.
Rousey going to be in Toronto on Monday. We're going to hopefully be there. Looking forward to that.
I have a hard limit on how much I'll spend from. Although that I will say, it's increased a little bit because Vince McMahon has gone, and it is different. It is weirdly different than in a way that I did not expect at all.
I mean, listen, we're probably going to spend like $40. I think it's probably
that's the most. That's my upper. before it was 20. I told you. I said it on this podcast. Right. $20 was my max limit for Raw. I'll put it up to 40 now.
40. All right. Let's see what we can do. Anyway, listen, SmackDown was a solid show. I know that some people were down on it in some ways. I'll tell you this.
It had its negative moments.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't far from perfect. I mean, listen, Ronda Rousey has now set the record for most arrests in WWE.
Those costumes were so bad. They went to the least expensive costume house in Montreal to rent those, or they did it last minute and got what they got. Like that was very
shout out to Casey Spinelli, who was the female cop who was very well done up, and everyone kept bringing that up, and I thought that was hilarious. She's a wonderful wrestler here in Canada. And also the guy who got his arm broken was Big Ben, who also does work with Love Wrestling. So Big Ben, I don't want to say Ortman, but I don't want to mess up his last name. But yeah, Big Ben did it. He wrote a whole thing on Ben Ortman's. He was just great. Had a great role getting his arm broken by Ronda Rousey, put over that experience, and I thought it was really neat. So good stuff. But yeah, Ronda gets arrested again.
Yeah, it was funny. No charges pressed. Again, not how the law works. Like maybe in some U.S. states, but like anyway.
Why does Adam Pearce never press charges?
I don't know, because there are matters to be settled in the ring, Joel.
I guess Toxic Attraction made their debut on the main roster.
Yes, because Zoe Starks is injured and Nikita is not medically available. Which is good job, whoever in the back came up with that as the polite way to say unvaccinated.
So the 1-6 Mafia is out, Toxic Attraction is in.
That's good. I feel like that's the better call. At least give them a little bit of attention on the main roster. They'll lose in the next round.
So I had some people bring up the fact that like maybe this was always a plan to have Toxic Attraction show. I don't think it was, but also
I don't think so. But also it's weird that they wouldn't know that this was going to happen. Like,
but I think that was a left hand, right hand thing. I think, honest to God, I think they booked it, and then someone was like, "Oh shit, did you know that in Canada you're not allowed to come in if you're not vaccinated?" And I said it before, I'll say it again. When AEW is here in October, keep track of who's normally on TV is not on TV. Take a list.
Medically available.
Not medically available.
Or who has a record, because that also impacted SmackDown.
Honestly, but yeah, so the Usos thing, whatever. That's the Jeff Hardy thing. We've always known that. For those who don't know, because of the Usos DUI, apparently this is a thing in Canada. If you have a DUI in the United States, you cannot cross the border into Canada. Not my rules, not in my country, but it's not my rules.
I don't know. Don't drive drunk. I don't care. I'm not crying for anyone who can't come in. Like,
yes. So no Usos. That sucked, but also they made the most of it because Sammy was red hot all night.
They did damn good with it. Like they played it off well. They gave an interesting dynamic to Roman's character, who tactfully embraced Sammy being the only backup he had there that night. So like it was all that was actually weirdly well written, the way it was constructed. Like it's that was new. Like before, there would be like a every now and again a good idea would come through, but like it's been a lot better lately. Also, no Scarlett, no, but they're on Raw, right? Scarlett and
no, they're on SmackDown.
Yeah, no Scarlett, no.
They had a pre-tape though.
They had a pre-tape. They got around that one.
Once again, take note of who's available and who's not. Anyway. Let's talk about Masse and Mansoir and Max and Maxine Dupree. Holy shit, that was fun. Okay. They come out, they do the thing, and then out comes Hit Row. And Hit Row's performing the song that they had. First of all, this was kind of doomed to fail because Tim, they messed up something super easy.
Yeah, they
didn't give the monitors
shit, which like in an arena all audio sounds like ass, so like you need to hear it directly, and no monitors for them, which like again I don't know, there's just some stuff being produced like, and it's like, okay, yeah, the rap sucked because it's because of this. Like the actual rap itself could have been good if it was just done correctly, but they screwed them. And like, they should, everyone involved should know better. Like, honestly, like even the performers should know what they need to do their best. So like, they should have advocated for themselves. Like, there's a lot of people here that just like dropped the ball on that. I felt bad because like the idea was actually really good.
Yeah.
It was just the execution of it. Like even the rap, like the lyrics of it were fine. Like it's just
for those who maybe don't know what we're talking about. So, or maybe if you're watching a video form. So I'm wearing in-ear monitors, right? They're basically they're earbuds. They go in and they look like they're hidden, so you can't really tell that I'm here. Tim's wearing them as well. Normally, performers are hooked into a system, like a monitoring system, where they can hear back the track or hear each other back, whatever it is, so that they can perform. I was looking throughout the entire segment for a hidden anything, and there was nothing. No one was
wearing bell packs, nothing. Like they just didn't have anything. They tried to do it with the arena audio, which there's almost always a delay, because what they end up hearing is a reverberation coming from the speakers, not the main speaker sound, because they're pointed at the audience. Like,
and you can have the speakers that are above the scoreboard coming down, but that's still
going to be. It's so hard because again, then the sound moves fast, but like, you know. I don't know.
And again, I don't think there was a problem with the rap itself. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't think it was the delivery got buried with the way that they didn't prepare for it.
Did Kendrick play Montreal? He just came through Toronto, and like, you know, if they just saw that at the Bell Center, it's a far cry from like.
I'll let you look that up, but I'm seeing like Will Washington pointed out, Montreal booed Cena's music video, but I don't. Again, times change and like demographics.
Yeah,
change.
I don't think it's that. I think the demographics watching wrestling in general, like more. Like I think, you know, you look at all the intros and stuff, like hip hop is much more embraced. Like,
yeah. So it was a really strange. I'm giving it a pass mostly because like I enjoyed it for what it was supposed to be. But
he didn't play
totally
Montreal.
Understand where,
he just did 2 nights in Toronto. Okay.
Talk about that, the Intercontinental Championship match, or the Intercontinental Championship #1 contender match.
Fun.
Sami Zayn getting a huge ovation. By the way, I know they're not watching, but if you run the WWE on Fox account, please stop saying pop. Please stop using wrestling terms when you're tweeting out. The WWE account said, "What an ovation for Sami." And then the WWE on Fox account was like, "That pop for Sami Zayn." I was like, come on, man. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm nitpicking, but I can do that here. Sheamus, Madcap, Moss, Happy Corbin, Ricochet, Sami Zayn. I figured it was Sheamus because they're going to Clash at the Castle. You and I have talked about it.
I mean, it was the clear, like, this is the 2 European wrestlers. Like, that should be the plan. Like, having Sami win here would have been insane. Like, I don't think that's the right call. Like,
I was just happy that Sami wasn't pinned.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't have him lose, but like, he doesn't need to win because you can't destroy everything just for one guy's hometown that time. Like, yeah, I thought it was really good. Interesting. Corbin got like a lot of the booking because he was going to take the pin. So like, you know,
But also, like, look at everyone in the match. Corbin has had problems with Ricochet, with Madcap, with Sheamus, with Sammy.
It's good.
Like everyone hates Corbin is what I'm getting at. So it was good for him
because
to be
he's
in
a
that match.
douche. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, so it was good stuff. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to, like most people, Gunther versus Sheamus. It's going to be a hard-hitting match. Both men's chests are going to be red.
Oh my God! Can you like Sheamus? Man, he's gonna be a totally different. He's just gonna look like blood.
Yeah, exactly. What do we think? Liv and Shotzi had a good match. It was fine. It was good.
It was
Shotzi,
fine. Shotzi getting some time is something.
Yeah.
Like
I think Shotzi reactivated her Twitter just to like talk shit and then deactivated it right away.
it again. Yeah. One thing I'll say, because like I've been like pretty harsh on Liv's promo game. Better this week. It was better this week. Yeah, like much better. So good job with that.
It's very funny that we were just talking about the whole wrestlers and their obsessions with Dragon Ball. And I just saw a wrestler tweet about going to watch Dragon Ball movie.
It's literally, I guess there's a new movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Apparently there is.
So that's what Sammy and Ty's, they dressed up for it, which whatever. Gotcha. That's fun. They're just having fun. I shouldn't be a dick.
They're having fun, Michael.
I should just probably unfollow Sammy and Tay.
I muted them a long time ago.
Yeah, like that's it. This is easily resolved. I'm just being a jerk. Like what you like, everyone. Like
Shayna Baszler coming out kicking Morgan in the face was
good. That was very good. They're building this in a way that is slowly getting me into it.
And then the main event or the main event segment with Roman and Drew.
He is the main event after all.
It was really good though, and I really like that you pointed out the fact that Roman Reigns had to rely on Sammy because he didn't have Paul Heyman, he didn't have the Usos, he needed some sort of backup. And who did he pick? He picked the only guy he could, and that's the guy who's been trying to get in his ear and kiss his ass for weeks.
Which is why he's like, come in, and he's like, you know what? You're right. Fuck that guy. Like, and then he'll go back to that guy and be like, nah, I needed him. Yeah. Y'all couldn't get past the border.
Yeah, border problems. I needed somebody to take that Claymore for me. Take the bullet. And that was Sami Zayn. And then Sammy's going to pretend to be like the guy. And then he's going to get the shit kicked out of him. And then he'll turn face. And it'll be a great match between Sammy and Roman, probably at the Royal Rumble.
That sounds fun.
Actually, that would be the greatest. That would be a wonderful match.
Yes,
holy shit, let's do that.
Yeah, and that's so fresh. Like, that is such a fresh thing if that happens. Like, anyway.
It's also fresh to leave a thumbs up on this video, by the way, if you're still watching.
The freshest.
The fresh mimicker. Dexter Lumis, by the way, was also arrested on Raw again. So he's trying to catch up with Ronda Rousey on the arrest record front. Yeah, that's twice in 2 weeks for Dexter Lumis.
It's better than the Boogeyman, man, which is what I was so scared for how this was going to turn out. Thank God Triple H is the one in control.
They did the backstage brawl between between Theory and Dolph. And then at the end of that brawl, you saw a hand kind of go up in the background and like look like he's holding the door open. And everyone was like, oh, it's the Fiend.
Oh, yeah, I saw that hand.
Yeah, no, it was very clearly Dexter Lumis.
Yeah.
We think the Fiend is coming back to Clash at the Castle. What do you think?
Why there?
I don't know, for the big pop at the end of the show.
I think they're waiting for a big moment. And I don't know that the overseas tour is going to be that or needs that.
Well, it's not an overseas tour. It's a massive show that they're running.
Yeah, it's one show. It's like a middle pay-per-view. It's not.
A lot of people are trying to talk themselves into the idea that Drew McIntyre wins because he's in home turf. And that the Roman thing's gotten stale, which I disagree with, especially after this week.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it just sucks that he has both titles. They've made this so difficult. Because like I would honestly love to see Drew win in home turf and get one of the titles off of Roman, but this is for both. And like that I don't know that I want to see. Like, I see a lot of people talk about the Roman thing being stale. I don't agree. Like, I honestly think he's still killing it every single week. Like, and the fact that he's not there every single week opens up space that is sorely needed for the other titles to get reinvigorated. So yeah, I don't know.
I guess we'll find out. There's definitely there's reason to split the titles again.
Yeah.
And there's also reason to keep them together until later on. I see the benefit in splitting the titles. I'm just waiting for some sort of direction. And I'm wondering if maybe the direction's coming because they're waiting on Cody.
Yeah.
What if Cody comes back at Clash at the Castle?
It's way too soon for that, but
no, it's not. All
isn't it 9 months?
Up.
Yeah. No.
I see in the chat they're talking about the TV 14 thing. Yes, I listened to the Matt Men podcast with Andrew Zarian too. It's on hold. They're not doing the TV 14 thing as quickly as you think. And then finally, what else? There was something else that happened that was really good. The Drew versus KO match.
Yeah, the wrestle.
The whole bunch of words talking about wrestling, and then they have a wrestling match. It's a good match, and finally it ends with the Usos getting involved, and there was a good use of a DQ on this finish. Mm-hmm. You're gonna run KO and Drew again, which is great. You'll run it down the line, and it'll be even bigger next time.
That's going to be good with a proper bill. Yeah,
that's right. And this was the good tease for that. And I think this was really well done. The Usos getting involved made perfect sense considering the Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, and the Usos storyline. This was one time where like a DQ finish works for me. It was good stuff. I really enjoyed that.
Like I said, used sparingly, it's just a device. It's when it's literally 100%. Multiple times per night, every single week.
Yeah. So all in all, I mean, listen, a pretty good week, a very confusing week, especially with the Punk stuff. That took up the basically 45 minutes of our time, but wow.
It sure did. Well, there's a lot to talk about, mostly because, again, kudos to Punk. I can't tell when he's acting and when he's being legitimate, which is good because I can't say that of all wrestlers.
Listen, the plan wasn't for him to say that shit about Hangman. Nobody expected it.
And that's the thing. I think, and it's funny to me because he's like champ shit. And everything that pops into my mind when he says that is him getting his ass kicked in UFC.
Did you see that?
Every single time in my mind when he talks a big game, I just watch him getting his ass beat when I was all hyped for his debut.
By the way, Caden in the chat talking about Index reforming. Yeah, okay, fine. Indy got the thing from.
Yeah.
They did the whole thing on Heatwave, and then by the end of Heatwave, we found out that they spoiled the NXT UK title tournament. Sure, whatever.
They was very obvious they were giving up. That's okay.
The 20 people who watch NXT UK must have cared.
Very upset.
And then other than that, they're going to run a show the afternoon of All Out. Oh no, it's the afternoon of All Out. Yeah. I think so. Whatever. They're going to do an NXT When Worlds Collide show. Great. Wonderful. It's all branding for the NXT Europe show and for NXT Global Localized Champion Braun Breaker.
I was surprised they announced the NXT Europe thing. I was like, oh, okay. I guess. Yeah, sure. You're just going to recenter. You're just restructuring the same thing. So that makes sense. It's go for it.
Hey man, Brexit means they got to redo everything.
Yeah, that's true. They got kind of screwed there. All right.
So now they have to do, and also they're working with a German company and they're working with an Irish company.
Yeah.
So they had to realign themselves. So
works for me. You've earned it, Britain.
I'm sure the 21 people who watch the show afterwards will be very happily invested in the product.
Reinvested, yeah.
That's right. I said it on Twitter. I'll say it again. There were absolutely people who saw Tyler Bate walk out with that NXT UK championship and think that he has not dropped that title since he won it in 2017.
That's very funny.
Tim, let's get out of here. Where can the people find you on the internet?
They can find me at Tim Stone P, TIMBSTONEP on Twitter, Instagram.
Fightful Overbooked. We do stuff every single day. We drop stuff every single day on this channel. Saturdays, Jeremy, Lambert, and I have started doing Newsworthy, which is a show where we talk about the top 5 news articles that you may have seen or maybe you didn't see that we want to talk about. It's always a good time. And then, of course, this show here at noon on Sundays and 5 p.m. Eastern, there is Tag Talk with Kylie and Haley. There is so much stuff here. I'm not going to put everything over, but come and hang out with us here at Fightful Overbooked. I am at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. We're going to go to Raw on Monday. Is that weird? That's weird.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. We'll see.
Weird.